And my driveway right now is not safe. You know, I broke my foot on it last summer. I really don't want to have to deal with that again.
I'm very sympathetic to your injuries.
And for driveways, unlike a house, we don't want to increase the cost too much, but there are some products that are a little more permeable, and that would be of assistance. Well, is there anyone in the audience who is a neighbor that has any comments on this? So this is not something that is a major issue there.
Have you had any discussion with your contractor about a more permeable surface?
Well, I thought the way that they had it layered addressed it, where it is going from a much looser, more permeable. There's about 5 layers to this driveway. Okay, and it goes from there.
Yeah, and if you define.
Yeah, if you read it, so, you know,
If the top one is the asphalt, it'll never hit the other floor.
so the one closer, once they excavate, the first layer is gonna be fairly coarse gravel, and then they call it a stone binder base asphalt. Then a commercial road top on top of that. So they're going from coarse up to finer.
But once they put the
Asphalt.
asphalt on, it doesn't flow through. So, and, you know, with the existing driveway now, there's not great flow through, but there's some gravel. I'm not an expert.
So I did notice, I wanted to bring this up to you then, about 3 houses down, another person has a fairly long driveway like I do. And they put these, they're like grates at the bottom of it. I don't know what they are, but they look like they're supposed to be for some kind of drainage thing.
It's just a dry well at the bottom of the driveway.
Is that-
From your house, it's going towards,
Babcock.
no. You going into where it joins together, Babcock and,
You heard of it, comes in this way.
yeah, I know, I went by there
Okay.
today. The house that we just talked about is
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
so we're adding to that flow.
Unless we put in a dry well or something like that.
Big at the end of the
Yes,
driveway.
Yeah, we could do that. I noticed another person had done that, just a
Do you
couple
know
houses ago.
the address of where that other house is? It's got it,
Maybe,
yeah.
if
because
it's,
that-
But not greatly more expensive.
What?
I mean, that's not greatly more expensive.
No.
it would either be, let's see, it's either 62 or 63 Babcock, it's one of those two.
Oh,
It's not that far
All right.
from my house.
Why don't we take a look at that? Do you want to take a look at that?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
We're gonna, yes. We're gonna take a look at this. And we'll just see if there's nobody else has any comments on it. And there may be a condition we might want to put on it to just increase a little bit, you know, this is something like the neighbor has with the drywall at the base, so that it's not increasing. You know, we don't want anyone to be increasing the flow,
Yeah,
okay?
right here.
Okay.
How long is, so, can I just ask how long that process would take?
I'll come by tomorrow if you want.
But the problem is we're gonna have another hearing for a while.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
2 months. You know, but I also encourage you to speak to your contractor, see if maybe he can propose an alternative. Dry wells can be expensive, maybe there's a more economical alternative available to you.
Yeah. Because sometimes what they'll do is pavings with the sand between so that you have a solid surface, but there is some natural drainage into it. So anything like that that helps to increase the drainage.
Yeah, and I
So-
must tell you, I would not normally have an issue with something like this, but the amount of neighbors that were here, talking about their concerns for Babcock Street, to allow that to, you know, continue out there without at least trying to do something, wouldn't be fair. They would have thought I waited for them to leave the room and then go ahead, you know. So if we can figure out,
Well, I just need some suggestions.
Yeah,
you
no.
know, Or else I'm gonna be coming back here every month asking, is this
No, no,
okay,
no.
is this
No, we're
okay? I don't know, I don't know, I don't do this
Well,
stuff.
we have, I mean, we won't have a hearing for a little while, so if you have a contractor who comes up with a proposal to either use some sort of permeable lines between it, you know, sand between stones or between the asphalt or more permeable, suggestion to us, just get in touch with Nora, let us know, and we'll circulate it here, and so we'll have an idea when you come in before you come next time. We can do that.
There's a product generically known as permeable pavers.
Mhm.
You can just Google it on the internet. Can you give me an idea what we're talking about?
So are these pavers as opposed to asphalt? Because we got a quote for pavers and this was astronomical. So we could not afford that.
Okay.
I mean, we have a long driveway, it's a double driveway.
We'll talk to your contractor, see if there's an alternative to help address permeability.
Drywall at the bottom, like one of your neighbors, you
Well, I
can drive
think
by.
the drywall is gonna be the only thing we can really do, you know? And I did see another neighbor have done that, I guess to try to address
It's
this.
one solution.
It requires digging down a little bit so that that drain has some area to go into. And if you could do that, that's probably the most we can ask for a driveway.
All right,
Okay?
okay, I'll do that.
And we'll see when, on what,
I think the next is August.
Yeah.
Here in July.
yeah. So get a proposal, let Nora know, and then come back in August and we can, but that's probably your best solution.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
She could set shed sideways into some kind of catch thing.
French drain, so that if it's all flowing down to the bottom, it's efficient.
Yeah.
Okay, 125 Charles Street, notice of intent. By,
Jeff,
yep,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, would it be possible if the applicant,
yes,
pardon me?
Ms.
Yeah.
Rosca?
Phil?
Jim?
Yeah.
Maybe this would be acceptable. If you find something and you come in and see Nora, and she reaches out to us and we say, you know, we don't, I think that's a good suggestion. Is it possible for her to go ahead and do the work because of the safety factor? And then come in August and show us what she's done, and then we can vote on it. Would there be an issue with that?
Whatever the board can do to help.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, that way you don't have to wait. And if you get in touch with Nora.
Well, then maybe we have a vote that will allow the RDA, subject to some mitigation, to be shown to the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That way you're not waiting and, you know, you can get it.
And then show it to us, and then that
Is
way.
anybody here in opposition?
No. Yeah, so,
Okay,
so we'll take a vote on that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it was said, proposed, that's a proposal.
Yeah,
Okay.
make a proposal that we,
Act not applied, provided that there be some.
mitigation that is agreeable to the board, and she can do the work if agreeable for the next meeting, and then come and update us to what we agree.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have Chen from engineering also.
Okay. Second on that?
Second.
all right, yeah.
Okay, all right.
All
then-
right,
Did you
we'll
say?
do that.
And Chen.
Who seconded that? Sorry.
Excuse me, John.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, now we're up to
125 Charles Street.
125 Charles, notice of intent, filed by Leo Martin. Applicant proposed to build an attached two-car garage addition to an existing single-family land subject to coastal storm flowage.
You all set?
Yep. Good to go.
There's Jim Burke with the Selberg Associates offices here in Quincy, Massachusetts. I am here tonight representing Mr. Leo Martin, who's in the audience tonight, for basically a garage addition on an existing single-family home that sits on 9,000 square feet. Charles Street approaches, what's the beach down there? Approaches the ocean headed to the east, and the floodplain comes in from there. The elevation of the floodplain is 12, the lot's basically at elevation 10, 8, 9, 10. The finished floor of the house is about 10 and a half. The garage is proposed to be 6 inches below that at 10.2. To compensate for, for allowing flood to come in, we have the openings in the garage. We need 5 12 by 12 openings to meet the FEMA regulations with regards to construction within a flood zone. For the additional impervious area, we're also proposing some recharge chambers, collect the roof runoff, discharge that into the soil. If you have any questions on this proposal, I'd be glad to answer.
Anybody from the audience?
This is a quick one. So back again, Margaret Forrest for the record. Tired property in House Neck, getting it infused with investment. Applicant did the same, literally diagonally across the street. This is the classic, you moved into House Neck, your next move is 3 doors down. I think that what we're going to see is a great investment in the property and an improvement. So, thank you for your support.
I have one question. I went by there today and it appeared that there was, looking at the house, there was more room on the right-hand side of, between that and the next house. You're gonna be right up against the property line?
Yeah, I mean, that existing house is actually, when we did our survey, that existing abutting house is actually over the line. There's a slight encroachment there. So that abutting home is closer than we're proposing to be. But the house itself is pretty centered.
But you're gonna need zoning
Yes.
permission for the same?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to zoning. And again, this is gonna be heard on June 27th.
So we won't, we can't opine on that, but I see what you mean. But, and you've got the additional water flow is gonna be off the roof, and that's where you've got the.
Yeah, we're just proposing to capture the garage at this point. But during construction, if we can grab the other roof, and it's not too much of a problem for the contractor, we'll put that in as well.
Okay. I have no questions.
As far as we're concerned, this is zoning.
Yes, yeah. Do I have a motion? Mr. Nelson, yeah.
Okay, make the motion to issue the order pending on that clearing zoning.
Yep. Second. All in favor? Okay. Thank you. The next matter is 149 Rockland Street, notice of intent filed by Allison McLean. Applicant proposes to raise the existing single-family home and build a new single-family home at Coastal Beach and Coastal Bank. There's a lot of comments.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Again, Jim Burke with the Sell Burke and Associates. I'm here tonight representing Allison McCollum, who's sitting in the audience tonight. She purchased 149 Rockland Street, which has several wetland resources on the lot. It's a 5,000 square foot lot. It's got coastal beach, coastal bank, it's got floodplain. I don't think I left anything out. Let's get land underwater, I think. But there's an existing home that was represented by the kind of yellow shape here. The gray is basically the coastal bank. It's a retaining wall, a seawall that exists. So this house sits out and extends out beyond that wall. Existing deck does as well. So what we're proposing is this lot also is desperate need of some redevelopment, and what we're proposing to really kind of maintain the existing footprint. Excuse me 1 second. So what we're proposing is a single-family house that looks bigger than it is, to tell you the truth. You know, if you look at the red dash line, it's a 24 by 32 box with adjacent deck, with an attached deck. It lines up with what the original deck was. We're maintaining the same footprint, setback on the side, 7.8 to the abutting home to the north. So we're looking at, you know, the reduction. Let's see what we have for reductions here. The existing deck that's over the coastal bank is 345 square feet. We're proposing 286.
So the existing home's already, that's what I'm trying to figure out from the drawing.
Right.
If we say color, not the little up there. The existing home is already over the coastal bank.
Yeah, and this is actually something I prepared for tonight.
Yeah.
So, see the red, that's the red,
That's existing?
that's existing. And you can see how we're gonna open that back up, but we're gonna take it back over here. But if you add all this area up, the brown, and then what's under the red, that's 345, that's back to 286. So the area around the coastal bank, the coastal beach is less than what we're proposing. The increase really comes into, if you consider the deck impervious. If you consider the deck impervious, then we are 1,815 square feet as opposed to the 1,410, which represents the red outline. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, is that the fact that we're going to do the same thing as we do for all my projects, capture the river runoff and recharge it in the ground. Right now, there's no stormwater controls here. We don't necessarily have to do it for a single-family home, but you know, it's easy to do. It's kind of, you know, we have the opportunity to do it. We're going to have all new utilities, water, sewer. The house is going to be on piles as well. So it's going to be set. So the finished floor. Finished floor is 18.4. And you're looking at, you know, the lot itself is at elevation 9 and 10. So you're a full story up. You'll be parking, you know, the cars are going to be pulled off the street. There's no parking for this site now. So whatever, you know, cars used this house before, there was no way to get into the site because it's, you know, contained by fencing. So all the parking is going to be on the site. All new piles, all the existing piles are deteriorated. The deck has actually fallen into the ocean. And we're just looking to kind of maintain the existing footprint and put a kind of an updated home on there. And then open up the
So the driveway, right now the parking is where? On the street?
yeah, it's on the street. There's
So
no,
you
there is
have a
no,
driveway and then, because we don't have an elevation house, it's under the house?
excuse me?
Where's the parking?
The proposed parking is going to be like right inside the house. So you have this driveway that's going to come in. You're going to park in between the piles.
Okay.
So that's like,
And that's the, an half-story building. Now, guys, will this, because of the height or setback, will this go to zoning?
The setback is,
Does this require zoning?
oh yes, absolutely, yes. For building height and for side yard setback and front, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pushed it forward to kind of pull the house, because the existing home actually has living space over the ocean, and we kind of pulled it forward so we wouldn't have that anymore.
Okay, yeah, no, it's yeah. Okay. Any questions? We've got some comments here, so let's go over those. Do we have anything on from engineering? We've got the letters. Yeah. We've got a letter that, and sorry, I was citing Anita, Laura. Diane Wilman, Todd Nicolai. Sorry, David Nansen and Deborah Conso all opposed. And has everyone seen this letter? And then we also have, is there another letter? There's a letter I have too.
Yeah.
Any other people are here to address it?
And I didn't see the,
Okay.
what was the reason for
Well, there's several reasons.
the, but any of it had to do with that?
Yes, vertical surfaces, et cetera. Because before we go into this, as I said, this will require zoning board approval for height, for some of the other things. Some density of the neighborhood is not our main concern, but this does have issues of the coastal bank and those conservation issues which we will address. So anyone want to speak in favor or question it or oppose, please come up and address it.
So, Marvin Forrest again, I haven't seen this, and so I'd be curious to hear the opposition letter, because I know
Oh.
all of those names referenced.
Yeah.
And that's kind of surprising, because I didn't hear from them. I did hear from a few others in the neighborhood who were like, great, another tear down rebuild, cleaning up, properties that have been tired and now need to become flood compliant. And I think that's a big change for people when they're seeing these tear down rebuilds. But what I think people aren't understanding is the 50% FEMA rule that you're all very familiar with is, at this point, to make any improvements, you have to tear down rebuilds. And with what the footprint is, what is the project that best benefits the ecology of the area in the floodplain, so that this home has the right to continue. So that to me, I think I wish people, sometimes they send a letter and you got it today? Okay, so I guess if I could read that
Yes.
too, because I haven't heard anything. I do have 2 messages from this afternoon that they're saying they called, but I know all those people, I'm surprised to not have heard, but I did have others in the neighborhood, a resident of Causey Street, another resident of Rockland Street, that I said, oh, this is coming before, and they were pleased to see the improvements in the neighborhood, so. You guys should copy that.
No, and this is a full letter from him, so we do have your
I'm just gonna read it.
calculations, which is helpful.
You want to type?
It's a sensitive.
I'm Allison McClellan. I bought the property and I'm very excited to move there. I've been working with Sullenberg for quite a while. We've been talking about various options. I'm fully on board with doing what needs to be done to preserve the ecology and whatever needs to be done. Obviously, we go up on piles. I'm fine with permeable, whatever needs to be done. Right now, the house is literally falling into the water. We had to stop the home inspection because he said the front of the house is pulling away from the back of the house, and the piles are corroded and rotted. If I left it for another year, it would probably, one big storm, it would be in the ocean. So I'm happy to do whatever you require to be compliant, but I think it's gonna be a great looking house in the end. And as far as concerns, I did read that letter. It looks like some of those concerns may be better addressed with zoning, I'm not sure, but the one, I think perhaps the woman behind me is concerned about not being able to see the ocean anymore. We're only expanding that footprint, I think maybe 1 to 2 feet, so she will still have a view. I think perhaps she didn't realize that, or I'm not sure, but.
Some of the comments that the engineer didn't say you hold the shack.
Off of the water.
Which she complained about it being too close to the water. In her letter, there was something
Yeah.
about being seaward.
I'm just curious because the house next door just went through a whole renovation and extends far more into the water than we were actually holding the ground, and as Jim said,
Yeah, and I believe
50.
Jim said that you hold it back.
And it's the living space, yeah.
Yeah, the living
Yeah.
spaces, yeah.
Right. So that
Exactly.
addressed,
Right.
you know.
So we kept the deck. you know.
Right.
So I believe a lot of what was in there that has to do with us.
Yeah, and the one last thing, I think the one behind is concerned about her view of the water, but
She can't see the water between the trees.
she can, between that.
I went by there today.
The narrow
again,
yard.
I mean, that, we couldn't deny it for that reason, it has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, we're only going over, I think, 1 or 2 feet, so that's really a moot point, but thank you
No.
Marvin, we need
Oh.
to, Marvin, you gotta,
You can have mine.
Yeah.
Oh, this is your copy, sorry. I was like,
we have to put that in the file.
yeah, we can have the pictures too.
Okay. All right, then, let's keep that with the,
You want the pictures?
well, we keep that with your file.
Are you going to read it in or you're not reading it?
I'm not gonna read the whole letter in, the board has read it because it's long, but, I think we understand the issues and we have, no other questions. Do I have a vote on this? Motion?
Motion to issue the order.
You're all set? Hey, Jim.
We're gonna have a motion to, go ahead.
A motion to issue the order.
Okay, close the
Conditional on zoning.
conditional and zoning, yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? This will just stay with our record. Along with these orders.
It's all set.
Jim, you have the original.
Please, sir.
It's
Sorry.
all
we
set.
need vote.
We just voted. It's all set.
Oh, good. Well, thank you.
Can't vote.
Sorry, we're talking away here.
Sorry.
Nora?
You
You don't need this one, you just need the letter.
Yeah, that's all right. And I have them. She has them.
Okay.
I thought you wanted to read it.
No, I was gonna read the whole thing. Okay, we now have,
That's it.
last one is 5 Brackett Street. And this is a notice of intent filed by Daniel Quirk. Applicant proposes demolition and reconstruction of the Mazda dealership. It's a riverfront land subject to coastal storm flow.
I'm so confused right now, he doesn't know what Casey's talking about.
This is the old yellow cap building.
Yellow Cab and Mazda, correct.
Okay, fine.
Mr. Chairman, good evening. For the record, Christopher Harrington. I represent Daniel Quirk, the owner of the property at 91 Mayor McGrath Highway and 5 Brackett Street. This is a notice of intent for a redevelopment project. It's land subject to coastal storm flowage. It is a coastal flood zone as well as buffer zone to the town brook and buffer zone to wetlands. This is a redevelopment project. The basis of this project is that the existing Quirk Mazda dealership building is coming down. The yellow cab company is also coming down, and the lots are going to be combined into one new lot with one new building on that lot. The existing buildings have a combined footprint of 17,834 square feet. The proposed footprint of the new building is 18,786, or approximately a 5% increase over the existing conditions. In terms of the riverfront and the resource areas, the existing building is 10 feet from the property line on the town brook side of the property, and the new building is 37 feet away from the property line. So the building is much further away from the resource area than existing conditions. It's an improvement over the existing conditions. The property will have stormwater treatment and stormwater management systems installed on the property that are not present on the property today. There's an increase in the overall amount of green space on the property. There's existing 7,000 square feet of green space now, and there'll be 11,000 square feet when the project is finished. And there's a new, much larger green buffer zone. If you look at the landscaping plan that I just passed out, there is a landscape plan showing all new landscaping on the river side of the property with new landscaping and native riverfront species. Jim Burke is our civil engineer who's responsible for the notice of intent and all the plans. And he's going to talk to you specifically about the site and what he's designed for it. Thank you.
Chris. Again, Jim Burke with Giselle Burke and Associates. Yeah, you're looking at a 90,000 square foot parcel. Mr. Quirk picked up the cab stand on the corner, and combined the two lots. You can kind of see the orange and the gray represent the impervious area of it. As we went through the design, there's still a decent amount of gray, but I tell you, it's a reduction in impervious from existing to proposed. In addition to that, we're still grabbing all the roof runoff and actually all the surface runoff, treating it, recharging it, and overflowing it to the city system, provided Jen likes it. But he'll certainly write a comment, and we're going to go through site plan review as well. And Chris filed with the planning board, so there'll be an additional review for the entire site along with the stormwater. I'm comfortable with the stormwater. Stormwater is, let's see, we have 2 recharge systems. Geez, I hope I can run that. No, there's 2 recharge systems. There's one here, and there's one on the other side. The way we graded this particular site is kept a high point, like kind of right through here, and drain this way and drain this way. All the runoff is, recharged into here and overflows to the street. So nothing discharges directly into the town brook. Obviously, new water, new sewer, and that kind of thing. We generated a erosion control management plan, which is submitted with a notice of intent. A long-term operation and maintenance plan, which is also submitted with the notice of intent. We received a DEP file number and with no comments, so I was happy with that. Certainly a big improvement for the existing site. Like I said, it's another, it's not the worst site we've seen tonight, but certainly needs some help. Excuse me?
Is it 21E?
Mr. Quirk's owned, yeah, I'm sure there is. He's owned it for quite a long time, so I didn't. There are some.
I would imagine with the tax.
Yeah. I'm sure he did. We can certainly look into that. I'm not too sure on the 21E aspects of the taxi stand. Chris, you? No. Okay, but we can certainly delve into that.
More curiosity.
It has to be addressed at some point, but for our purposes, it's very close to the town brook, but it's a redevelopment. So we're allowed to stay close to it because it's impervious anyway. That's our major resource there, and it's an improvement.
Yeah, I think the landscaping went a long way. We used Mark Cocktail, and he kind of dressed up that riverfront and talked Mr. Quirk into it, and he understood why. So.
What is in the, again, curiosity, part of that is already the dealership, and the dealership has a building down here.
Yeah, right now across the street is mostly the operations.
Yeah.
Across the street they have, the sales and the service. What this is going to end up being is, this is going to turn into the sales and the light service, in a sense, the oil changes and the stuff like that. So all the new cars will come in and get their 5,000 miles to service and scoot out the door. And actually, the service is they drop off here, and then wait here, they pick the car back up, and they go right around the building. Across the street is going to be converted into more, long-term style of service. At least that's what I'm told.
And no entrances, and nothing other than landscaping along the town brook.
Correct. And like I said, the entire building's outside the floodplain. We raised that up, so we'll end up in coastal storm flowage, so we're allowed to bring that up without any sort of floodplain issues.
Removal of invasive species performed by experienced riverfront restoration specialists, native wetland species, and we've got a listing here.
given the property-specific work that owns around town and Quincy Ford and the like, he's kind of used to it now.
Any questions? Any comments from, okay?
Can you speak?
Please, come on up and identify yourself. This is good.
I'm Donna Ricks, I live at 18 Walpole Street, and I come in that area. Well, we have the brook there that's been there forever, and I'm concerned about the brook because there's wildlife back in the marsh, and I don't know, he's got so many cars, I'm just worried about the conservation part.
This is not gonna be a storage place. I know some of his places along the waterfront, they store hundreds of cars. This is a retail.
He's gonna build a big building
Yeah.
where, not Yellow Cab, he's gonna build where WJDA was.
Right.
He's gonna be
Yellow cab and.
Building and lots of cars, I presume.
WJDA staying, that building will stay.
He was taking down WJDA, and he was
That's-
gonna take, I don't understand the map, and he's gonna take down Yellow Cab.
Right, Yellow
And-
Cab's coming down, but WJDA, the building on the stilts,
Yeah, it's
That-
coming
that-
down, I know.
that one's not, it's not coming down.
Well, the letter I got said that's coming down.
No, the meeting is at the WJDA meeting,
Oh,
it's at the JDA
I
building.
can't hear you.
The meeting I'm having tomorrow
Yeah.
night is at WJDA's building.
Right.
That is not what the letter says. That's just where we're
Is
having
this-
the meeting.
So you're gonna have a community meeting on
Community meeting
this?
scheduled tomorrow.
So he's not building a building there?
Nope.
So what's he gonna do,
Next
store
door.
cars there?
He's not taking that building down.
Hmm?
That building's not coming down.
That can come out at the neighborhood. What we're addressing here is.
I know, conservation. So,
And they're protecting the riverbank.
okay, protecting the,
If you could see that, yeah,
Yes.
with
and you won't
landscaping.
cut down trees or anything because you're not supposed to?
We'll
They're
be replanting,
Huh?
and we'll be replanting a number of trees. We'll be taking out the invasives along that bank,
And
and
what about the
honestly,
yellow
from
cab,
a.
yellow cab area? You're gonna be all cars like there are now?
There'll be a new
Well,
building.
no, actually, I mean, we're gonna be pulling that back and it'll be greener.
Yeah, that's what you say.
Yep.
That's what
Thank
the
you.
plan says, so they have to do it according to the plan if we approve it. And so your community meeting is prior to zoning?
Yes.
But this is a full, any other questions? Any questions? Go ahead. Identify yourself again. I know you said it, but for the record, you have to say again who you are.
Stephanie Haynes again. Does this address runoff from, any car liquids like oil or, transmission fluid or?
Yellow cab.
Well, the service department is inside, so the storage of cars that are the exterior to the building, they're brand new, so that there's actually not gonna be a lot of leaking coming off those particular
Well,
mains.
yellow cab, I'm sorry. Yellow cab has been there for years, and if they test the land,
Yeah, we talked about that. They
You have
they may have
tested?
to, they may have to in order to do
Because,
a 21E at some point.
between yellow cab inside and the runoff, they've tarred and everything, but underneath, I've lived there forever, so you never know what you're gonna find.
And that'll be part of their proposal, but we don't control 21E, the banks and the state controls that, and I'm sure they're gonna have to do one for this.
Correct.
Right, and I'm sure if you're doing a lot of changes, you're gonna have the proper separators and everything else.
Just to answer your question, when it rains now, the water on this site just runs into the river because there are no drainage structures on this side of the property. So with this new project, there are curves along this side of the property to stop the water from running into the river. And there are catch basins along this side that will capture the water, put it through treatment chambers, and then from the treatment chambers into these things called infiltrators, which are underground tanks to infiltrate the water back into the ground. And then those infiltrators overflow into the city system. So with the new system, all the water's going to get captured on the site, treated, cleaned, and then put into the city system instead of running into the river, which will be a big improvement over what's there now.
I was just wondering about them testing yellow cab.
And part of the proposal, if they're doing it along the waterfront, they have to improve the condition. That's part of the requirement. And this is an improvement of the condition with new drainage system that doesn't exist in the landscape. Any other questions? Do you have a?
All right, so this is, oh no, I still have one more here, actually, so.
Is this your district?
This is, yes, this is on the border of, I have
She's
the
the
side
only
of
one who talked about the
the
meeting.
McGrath
that's right,
Highway, and
yeah.
the person has the other side. I do have McGrath Bracket in lower Elm. So I just wanted, we have the neighbor meeting scheduled, it's going for planning for site plan review. Just kind of scheduling matters is how we're at conservation before. A letter went out to a substantial amount of abutters relative to this meeting tonight, as well as the community meeting tomorrow, and then the subsequent meeting. So I think it's understanding, I think you did a great job presenting. My concern to what are the existing conditions now, I see it's substantially improved environmental conditions, and what the operations were. So I think, Donna, to your point, how they're able to operate with their service, there's treatment that they're required by law, and we were required by this plan to follow through with. So Mr. Duke of Inspectional Services does a lot of due diligence on these projects, as well as this board has the right to do site visits. So I'm comfortable with the conservation plan submitted before, and look forward to really kind of delving into the project through the planning board process.
But it does raise, is there any substantial possibility that the plan will be changed because of planning and site review?
From an architectural standpoint and a building size standpoint, I'd say no. I'd say maybe.
Minor changes we can approve, or the other proposed possibility is we've had our hearing,
Yeah.
we close it and wait until the plans are.
I honestly don't see any sort of substantial changes that could occur with regards to conservation.
You meet all of the zoning, correct?
Right.
We don't need a zoning filing, so it's just site plan review.
Just
We
site
don't
plan.
just site plan review.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need any variances, and we only need a floodplain special permit from the zoning board. The 4 stories is allowed on this property. We've got 1 story plus a mezzanine, and 1.5 FAR is allowed, and we've got 0.26. So we're so far below anything required by zoning that I don't think we're going to see any significant changes from
The
zoning.
site plan review may put some improvements on it,
Yes.
landscaping,
Yeah.
in which case that's not going to be an issue.
They may step up the drainage to where,
Yeah.
I'd say that's about it, given where it's a riverfront.
Yeah, they've got, okay.
And I
So-
think it's sense.
Yeah, then I'm comfortable having a vote on it.
Yeah, huh? Vote on tonight?
Yeah, any other?
Okay, fine, I'll make a
Another
motion.
question, Stephanie Haynes again, how many service bays are gonna be in that particular site?
I want to say there are 8.
Is this light service on this? There's going to also have the service facility on the other side.
Quite a bit
You
of
call
things.
this light service, right?
Yeah, it's basically the oil changes and this the regular maintenance of the vehicles.
Okay.
But 2
They're all
bays to me is light, 8 bays is a little, getting a little bit.
for that street.
It supports it now. I mean, it's from a,
You don't live there.
I know, but I mean, it's really, it's.
But from a conservation issue, I think we can address the landscaping and that's more an internal issue. Raise that at the community meeting tomorrow.
Well, and then how many bays are across the street?
I think 12.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
2 bays.
Okay. But I think we're prepared to take a vote.
Make the motion to issue the order conditions.
Okay? Is there?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So everything else on the agenda?
We've got
See you
a
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, you'll see me tomorrow.
amended order
Okay,
conditions.
so, subject to, well, they don't need zoning approval. And, okay, that's it for our hearings.
No, we have a certificate of compliance for 88 minutes. What's
Okay.
going on? Okay, 88 minutes.
88 Lennox?
Yeah. Yeah, compliance.
Oh, compliance? Okay, I've got a 500 minutes here. 88 Lennox is here for compliance. So,
Compliance.
does anyone, what is 88 Lennox?
It's,
Is someone here to
yeah,
address it?
stop brand new, there's a brand new,
All right.
Yeah.
You went out to 88 Lennox today.
Yes, I did.
It's a new house, everything's good.
So did they approve?
It's a new house, it's-
Yeah.
it looks like somebody was in it when I went by.
It's still gonna go to planning board.
Town driveway.
I
But
know
the
that.
exterior of the house on the street,
That's it.
it's basically construction.
What?
Basically construction. No landscaping, there's gravel across the front. There's plenty of green grass in the back.
That's all we've
The
done.
front of the house looks like it's under construction.
So are you,
I'm the owner.
owner?
Yeah.
Well, what's the progress?
The progress is the house is done. We weren't aware that we needed to have a lawn in order to get compliance. We're happy to do the landscaping. The only problem is we've spent the amount of money to build the house. And we're in the process of refining so that we can do the landscaping. Landscaping for the property is quite extensive. It's gonna cost as much as the foundation. So we need to kind of get this done so that we can do the rest of the landscaping. So in order to get this far, we put the gravel in the front to grade so that we could get through inspection. And we're just trying to kind of like get things going so that we can get the refi to do the landscaping.
What were the conditions? What were the
Well,
conditions?
the foundation's exposed to the front with the pink insulation board. I mean, it still looks like it's under construction. If that was cut off, and some loom was spread out,
The building inspector was okay with it. He said you're doing very expensive retaining wall.
Yeah.
He
Three.
copy.
Big retaining walls.
He thought he was going to.
We'd like to give you a plan, but a plan would require that we give some money to a gardener. So until we can get the refi, we've got proposals, but we don't have a plan yet.
Can I add a comment? Thank you. So, I've known Victor and Peter. Peter and I graduated from high school together, lifelong Necker families. And I have to tell you, I've been in their home, their existing home, and it's class act. And I've seen some previews on Facebook of this home, and it's a class act. I am very confident that they will follow through on their word to this board, and I will support their request to you this evening. I know them personally, I communicate with them. Their neighbors were all supportive for the zoning relief and the conservation when they originally filed these plans. So it's a beautiful improvement, taking over a blighted property, really upping the game for real estate in Housing Act. They're going to do this top notch, and I have full confidence that they will follow through in all of your requests.
Jason, you'll enforce it if they don't finish the loan?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. And, the motion?
I made the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we can, where, you got it there?
We have the extension to,
And what else, is this 500, you're here on which?
500
Commander
Commander
Shea?
Shea, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, not Ward 1. Have a great evening, everybody.
You're finally done. Okay. Some amended order conditions for Scannell Properties, slightly reconfigure the northeast parking lot to accommodate FedEx ground operations. That's. What is the Milton Inline Inspection Project?
that's just for your information.
Oh, okay. I don't have to do anything with that, good. Go ahead, I'm
Good
sorry.
evening, no, it's okay. My name is Jocelyn Mayer. I'm from BHB representing the applicant, Scanell. We're here to request an amendment to the order of conditions that was previously amended in December of 2015. Since we last met, there were a few neighborhood meetings that occurred. There were concerns about noise from the property. As such, the applicant, and to respond to that, has agreed to put a noise enclosure to help reduce the noise from the property, and will also provide a screening buffer along Commander Shea. As a result of that, we had to reconfigure the parking slightly within this area, which gets a little bit closer to the wetland, and this figure shows it, I believe, is in your packet. The red line was what was previously approved by the commission in 2015, and then the gray area are the areas where we're expanding. As a result of this, the stormwater design remains the same. In fact, we're actually converting what was 2 acres of pavement that needed to be treated will be now clean roof runoff. So that's an improvement in the stormwater design. And then also along the edge of the wall that abuts the wetland will be transparent panels to avoid any impacts to the wetland right there. And then the roof will also have some skylights to allow light to penetrate.
So you're closing part of the roof to cut down on the noise?
Correct, yeah, so I highlighted it in green
Yeah.
on this figure, it might be tough to see. It's, on your figure, it's hatched with the dashed line. Overall, we're still reducing impervious area from existing conditions.
Have you,
There's someone here.
oh, okay. There's somebody here to speak. Go ahead.
So I'm vehemently opposed to letting them do essentially anything anymore.
Can you speak to your name?
I'm sorry, Eric Salmon, 90 Quincy Shore Drive. I live up the street from where they're gonna try to put that. FedEx and Scanel Properties have, essentially colluded to screw over the neighborhood for the past year and a half or so. They had their proposal, were forced to remove their FedEx distribution proposal a few months ago because they failed to show up for 14 months. And the fact that they're trying to accommodate a FedEx distribution center that hasn't gotten approved through the planning board or was forced to be withheld or withdrawn from the planning board doesn't make much sense. It's one of these things where they try to piecemeal these things through the committees. I've said from 2015 when Scanel took over and tried to put a FedEx distribution center, the only way the distribution center goes in there is through corruption or incompetence by Quincy, and you guys are kind of the last hope in the planning board. It's been, they forced their way in there. It's, in terms of, conservation, it's FedEx. They have a fleet of poorly maintained diesel trucks that they're going to be essentially parking near there. I know this is an amendment to something that was previously approved that I couldn't find on the new website, but it would make no sense to put a junkyard right on the edge of the ocean or the Ponset River. It doesn't make sense to put a FedEx distribution center on the edge of Peninsula either. You're gonna have trails of oil going up and down the Ponset River. I ask you to deny this request with prejudice and prevent them from doing subsequent things until at least they get something through the planning board.
Somebody else? No, okay.
So this hasn't gone to the planning board yet?
Correct, we are tentatively scheduled for the July hearing, but I believe it might be too full that they might need to postpone us to the next, but that's to be determined.
This was the original Jordan Marsh Northwest. So they used to have trucks coming in and out all hours of the day. So what difference?
Jordan Marsh is a lot different than a FedEx distribution center. They're talking about 50 trucks per hour every hour. You're talking about continuous flow of traffic. It's not sending out deliveries from Jordan Marsh once a week or once a day.
There may be very legitimate concerns, but our concern, we have already approved this and they're asking for minor modifications. The planning board has not approved this. We can't go back and say, don't do it, because we've approved it subject to this slight modification for conservation issues. For purposes of traffic, for purposes of noise, for purposes of those things, those are below the ground level.
Sure.
Yeah, and I understand, you're gonna
But
come
they're
there when you
also,
can.
for this, they're going closer to the water, they're going closer to,
No, for that purpose, but it's
so
a minor
they're
modification for our purposes of construction. But there are, if you have issues with what they're doing there, those get ground up? those
Oh,
should be
yeah, I know, I'll be
tested?
at the planning meeting, I show up, FedEx and Scanel don't, they're not here today, are they, right? I mean, they don't show up, so, I mean, they
Okay.
don't give a
But-
crap about Quincy, they're gonna dump oil into that river,
But address those to the planning board, because at this point, we've got a very minor modification. The question is, do we do it now or after the planning board?
I would say after the planning board, because
I think we should take a look.
Okay.
I think this is an amendment to an already passed
Yeah,
order,
it is.
which is basically a trivial modification
Tomorrow, technical
of
purposes,
what
it is.
was
Okay.
there. So I don't see, I don't see,
Okay, make a motion.
I make the motion that we amend the order.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Thank you very much.
Your battle's with the planning board.
All right.
it should have never been approved in the first place. I mean, my battle is with Quincy, like you guys,
But we're,
There's a place
we did.
to go. if you
Okay,
agree-
we're gonna join the
Disagree
meeting.
with our decisions.
We're gonna,
what's that?
You're welcome to appeal our decisions.
but this one is probably not worth it. Let's go
So,
to,
exactly, I mean, this is what I
let's,
like.
let's.
For 2 years,
motion to
but
do it.
Scanel and FedEx can't show up at a meeting, like.
Second.
We're gonna take these. Do I do all the contract?
I'm calling you.
All right,
Now, what do we need to sign? You have minutes?
FedEx,
Can I sign this?
I give you minutes.
You know, I signed everything, right?
You signed everything, all right.
What about in here?
Okay, you signed this sheet.
Oh, this was the letters, these are your copies, yeah.
I know, it's a long night.
Is this all done? Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
Oh, yes, yes.
Right, and you have the newspaper?